Hello, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Julianne, and today I am making a crochet tutorial for these cute leggy frogs. These have been a bestseller at my markets, and I thought it would be a nice idea to show you how I make them because they're super quick, super easy, and just a great product to add to your next market. So if you're interested, keep watching and make sure to like and subscribe because I am almost monetized, which is so exciting. So yeah, for this project you will need some chenille yarn. So this one is from Loops and Threads and it's the Chenille Home Slim. You want to look for a super bulky yarn. They do come in different sizes, but it doesn't really matter. And then get a crochet hook. The one I'm using is 5.5 millimeters. You can also optionally get some pink yarn for some blush, as well as a tapestry needle, and then also some black yarn for the mouth and some safety eyes. For this size, I like to use between 8 to 10 millimeters, but again, it's up to you and your liking. So to get started, take your yarn and let's make a loop. And then we're gonna start by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So skip the first chain and then do single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the last chain, you want to do 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. So you've made 6 single crochets. And what we're going to do is that we're going to continue on the other side of the chains. So in the same space that you did the 2 single crochets, you're going to do another single crochet. So 1 single crochet, and then you just go down the line. You'll do 4 single crochet. So you did 1. Now we're gonna do the next one. 2, 3, 4, and in the last space you're gonna do 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Now in total, all around, you will have 12 stitches, and from here on out, we're gonna be working in rounds. So if you have a stitch marker, which I forgot to mention, but if you have a stitch marker, you can put it so that you remember the beginning of each row. So now that we finished row 1, we're gonna go on to row 2. And I'm gonna put my stitch marker into this loop here so that I remember where my first stitch is. So we're gonna go back into the first single crochet that we made and work a single crochet. So 1 single crochet. And then we're gonna do the eye. And here we're going to make a double crochet cluster. If you haven't done it before, I'll try to do as slowly as possible so you can follow along. But first, you make the same motion as a double crochet. So loop around, insert, pull it out, and then pull 2 loops. But instead of finishing the double crochet, you're going to start another double crochet. So loop around, insert into the space, loop, pull, and then pull out again. So there's 2, and you want to make 1 more. Again, go around in the same hole, insert, pull out the yarn, twist, pull 2 loops, and you're going to have 4 loops on your hook. And from here you can do another loop and pull all 4. So this is going to be your eye. It'll be bulging out a little bit. And then in the next 2 single crochets, put a single crochet in each. And make sure you put it in the correct space because with this cluster you might miss it. But yeah, just ensure that it's in the correct space. So 1 and 2. And now we're gonna make another cluster for the other eye. So same thing. We're gonna make 3 double crochet clusters. I don't really know what this is called, but yeah, essentially you want to make 3 double crochets and then pull it all. Alright, and then in the next space you single crochet. So that's our 6th stitch of this row. And then on the back, you're going to do single crochets all across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, and that's the end of row 2. Now for row 3, just take out the stitch marker, put it back in the loop. And this row is easy, you're just going to do single crochet all across. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a trick I like to remember is that the front part for this row, 2nd, and your 5th stitch should be into the double crochet clusters. So that kind of helped me make sure I'm putting my stitches in the right spaces. Okay, so we completed row 3, now on to row 4. For row 4, you won't need this stitch marker right now because we will be working on the arms. So for the arms, you will have to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And from here, you're gonna skip 2 of the chains, insert into the 3rd chain, and make a slip stitch. So that's like the first finger. And then chain 2 again, insert into the same chain from previously, and slip stitch. That's the 2nd finger. And then chain 2 again, slip stitch into the same chain. Now you've got your little hand. And then we're gonna just slip stitch into the rest of the chain. So you'll have to do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, and then now this is gonna be, you're gonna be making your first stitch of the 4th row, technically, because this arm is not going to really count in the 12 stitches that goes around. Hopefully that'll make sense later on. But now we're gonna do our first single crochet of the row. So 1, and we're gonna do 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now we've come to the other side of the front of the face, and we're going to repeat the same thing for the other side of the arm. So we're going to chain 10, and then make the fingers again. So skip the first 2 chains, slip stitch into the 3rd, chain 2 again, slip stitch into the 3rd, and chain 2 a final time, slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and then slip stitch all the way down the arm. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. And then on the back, we're gonna do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that concludes row 4. Now before we go on to row 5, this is where I like to put in my safety eyes and sew on my mouth and the blush. So for the mouth, there are 2 different versions that I like to make. And one of them is like a, let me show you from one of my examples. One of them is a V-shaped mouth, and the other is just like a straight face. This one's, I personally like this one more. I think it's really cute. So let's just cut off, I like to cut off around 10 centimeters of this yarn and just loop it onto the tapestry needle. And where I put the yarn is in right between row 2 and row 3, the 2 single crochets that we made in between the eyes. I'll just put my yarn in between those 2 stitches. So right here, and then loop back into here. So that's how you make the straight face. And then you just tie it inside. If you want to make the V-shaped face, again, you put the yarn in the same location. So you go in through here, right between rows 2 and 3. And then I just put it in between on the next row like this. And then I loop it back up and then back down. That's how you make the V-shaped face. And then you just tie it on the inside. Like this. Alright, and then for the eyes, let's put them in. I'm gonna use 10mm eyes today. I think they're 10mm. But essentially, if you remember, we made double crochet clusters, and there's like 3 double crochets. So I like to put it in between, like into the middle double crochet, just kind of stick it in between the stitches so that it's more secure. And do that on both sides, like so. There's no perfect placement, it's just whatever looks good to you and whatever looks more centered. Okay, for me that looks pretty good. So and then I'm gonna go ahead and secure it with the backing. Doesn't look the cutest on the inside, but as long as it looks cute on the outside, that's what matters. Okay, there we go. Those are the eyes. And then for the blush, again, this is optional, but I'll once again put the yarn onto my tapestry needle. And you can put it anywhere, but I just like to put it like on the sides, so right under the eyes like this, just between one stitch. Okay, so this is my little blush. I put it more to the side because there aren't as many stitches, and I just want to make it more subtle. And then you can tie it on the inside as well. Okay, we're gonna be stuffing the body anyway, so the inside doesn't have to look perfect. Just put it in. Now let's continue on to row 5. So you remember we just finished the arm, and what we want to do is we want to move the arm back so it doesn't get in the way and keep it on the outside. So we're gonna go into the first single crochet, and we're just gonna single crochet all around. So it's gonna be 12 single crochets in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you did 6. And again, pull the arm back and then start right here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the end of row 5. And we are going to just continue doing that for 3 more rows. So essentially from rows 5 to 8, we're doing single crochets all around. So let's come back after we complete that. So we've just finished row 8, and the way I like to make sure I have, if I don't use a stitch marker, I like to count from the bottom of the eyes. I want to have 6 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're good. Next, we are going to do the last row, which has the legs. So again, move the stitch marker back to this loop. And what we're going to do is that we are going to, Essentially what we want is to have 4 spaces between the legs. And it really depends on how you crochet. You might have to do 3 single crochets or 2 single crochets. I think here I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So I'm going to do 1 and 2. And then in the front you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. And then, so we're going to do the legs here. So again, it's going to be the same as the arms. We're going to do 10 chain. And then make the same thing as the arms, but now they're just going to be the little feet. Sorry, I can't really speak today. I'm recovering from a cold, so if my voice sounds a little nasally, that's why. Okay. And then chain all the way down. And then after you finish that, we're gonna single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're gonna do the other leg. Alright, and now we're gonna finish by single crocheting 7 all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remove the stitch marker and put in the last single crochet. And that is your completed frog. Let's leave about a 30 centimeter tail and cut it off. Pull it through. Yay, so adorable. And now we're gonna get some stuffing, which I also forgot to mention as one of the materials. But yeah, just take a little stuffing. You don't need that much, and just stuff the body. It's to however you like. If you want like a more chubby froggy, then put more. If you want a more skinny one, then put a little less. Now we're gonna sew the bottom. So once again, take your tapestry needle. The reason why I did one more single crochet at the end is that I want the front and back to be even, so that when we sew it, it looks better. What we're gonna do is we will be working on the outsides of the stitches. So go on the outside of this stitch and weave it back in to the other side, the outside of the other side. And then you kind of skip the legs because they weren't really part of the stitch. But again, you can go on both as well, whatever you think feels more secure. But I like to go on the outsides, like that. And you just go like this all the way across. Yeah, this project, once you get the hang of it, can take like 20 minutes. So it's a really nice item for a market. It's our most popular item. So yeah, oh my gosh, look at it. It's adorable. And of course, at the end, you just kind of weave in the end to make sure it doesn't fall apart. There we go. That is the completed froggy.